Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. And thank you so much for those of you who may have liked, shared, subscribed, reached out, given a thumbs up, given a heart. I really, really do appreciate you. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about companions. There's actually a lingo in planting terminology about companion planting. And it's just that seeds and plants thrive when planted beside plants that strengthen them. And that's really just the way life is. We're not coming into this life to live it alone. We need companions. Nothing happens in isolation. And so for this week, the question really is, who am I going with? Who is in my garden with me? And all. So our scriptural bearing is taken from Proverbs 27, verse 17, which says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. That's how certain plants were created to flourish when paired with the right companions. Our lives grow stronger when we intentionally choose the people who walk alongside us. In a garden, there are certain plants that are intentionally placed side by side to each other because of the benefits they get from each other. That ultimately leads to a better harvest. And so in the same way, our lives are shaped by the people we grow alongside. Relationships, community, accountability, and mentorship. Those really act as companions that influence our direction, strengthen our resilience, and multiply our fruit. I mentioned earlier, God designed us to flourish in connection, not in isolation. And the quality of our companions often determine the quality of our growth. Now, when we now look at practical examples, I said, unfortunately, for season 1, we dealt with just tomatoes and peppers, and they are good friends, i.e., they can actually go with each other. But when, and hopefully as the seasons progress and we tend to expand more with different types of crops, we'll start more with the idea of companion planting. I'm just going to give a couple of examples here. We have tomatoes and basils. I don't think you know the basil, that's like the little leaf. So when basils are planted near tomatoes, basils, they help repel pests that commonly attack tomatoes plants, like the aphids and the hornworms. And then the basil plant also attracts beneficial insects, and that will help the overall vigor and health of the tomatoes. And apart from that, also, like, that's the rumor, I'll try it maybe next year. People say that when you plant basils near your tomatoes, it tends to increase the sweetness of the tomato plants. At the same time, while that's happening, that's what the tomatoes benefiting from the basil. The basils also, because they are leaves, they require shade. So when they're planted beside the tomatoes provide a shade and that is needed for the basils to thrive, especially when in hot weathers. So it's more like a symbiotic relationship whereby they're benefiting from each other. Another example is going to more in terms of the corn, beans, and squash. Spaghetti squash or pumpkins or those kind of things. Now, I like this analogy quite a bit. Now, when the corns grow, the corns provide a natural structure for beans to climb because beans is a climber. So if you have corn beside your beans, you don't need trellises. Then beans then releases nitrogen into the soil to nourish all the 3 plants. And then the squash on its own, also because squash spreads along the ground to suppress weeds and retain moisture. So the idea is each of those plants contributes something essential towards creating a balanced and productive growing system for all of them, for the other 2. That's just it. So everybody, each in its own, doing what is called to be, but supporting and providing benefits to others. And then the last example I'll give is carrots and corn. Now, carrots and corn grow well together because carrots and onions grow well together because onions release a natural scent that deters carrot flies, which is a common pest that damages carrot roots. While the carrots grow quietly beneath the soil, the onions protect them above the ground. And I'm just brought this analogy here because it demonstrates how some companions offer unseen protection or unseen benefits that make healthy growth possible. Like, sometimes you may just have that friend that is praying for you, interceding on your behalf. You may not see what the person is doing, but the person is providing something for you, something to you. So that's, I just brought this example in here to know that it's not only the ones people that you are constantly in communication with or you see very often. Some companions are hidden or working behind the scenes, contributing towards your growth and also fulfilling the life you're called to live. So I'm just going to go with 5 steps to cultivating meaningful companions. And step 1, and that seems to be our constant step 1 in the past few weeks, is assess your garden. Take an intentional step to observe the people who are closest to you. As I said, not by proximity only, but also by influence. Who are the people that constantly encourage your growth? Who challenge you with honesty and care, and who bring peace, clarity, and stability into your life? Also, on the other hand, pay attention to patterns that leave you drained, discouraged, or distracted. Awareness is the foundation of wise cultivation, and that applies to everything. Because what we do not acknowledge, we cannot steward well. Step 2 is to seek the right companions. Just as gardeners plan companion beds before planting, we must also be thoughtful about the voices and influences we invite into our lives. Healthy companions align with our values, they respect our faith, and support the direction where we're going towards. Not the version of you that no longer fits. For some of them, that's why you may notice that as you evolve, some people that you were so tight with, as you evolve into a better version of yourself, they may not necessarily be as chummy, or you may not necessarily see that relationship as beneficial anymore. Just choosing your companions is an action of purpose, not chance. Step 3 is to nurture your relationships. Even the best of pairings fail without care, and it applies to companions as well. Healthy companionship requires time, communication, consistency, and mutual effort. Presence matters. Listening matters. Encouragement matters. Those things matter. And look at it as like the sun, water and the sun. Little consistent investment sustain meaningful relationships over time. Neglect, even in good soil, eventually will lead to withering. Step 4 is to set boundaries. And this is just really it. Some plants just simply do not grow well together. That's just it. And wisdom requires recognizing when proximity causes harm rather than health. Now, so create boundaries. There's some people that you don't even go near in terms of companions. There's some people that are companions. I don't know if they're friends, they're acquaintances. Then there's family. Different levels of companionship. So know your levels, know your boundaries, and then please just note that boundaries are not necessarily rejection or punishment. They are more like the protection, like you're guarding yourself from emotional, mental, and spiritual turmoil. So, anything that strains you, that brings about anything in terms of damage, or anything that doesn't necessarily promote your healthy growth, set the boundaries as needed. And step 5 is really the idea of multiplying your fruit. Now, the thing is, as I mentioned, if you notice all the examples I was shown before, companion planting is never one-sided. As you benefit from others, you're also called to be a source of encouragement, accountability, wisdom, and strength. Healthy growth multiplies when support flows from both ways. I said the healthiest garden you get is really when all the plants contribute to the well-being of everything. So the idea is, you should want to be a friend. If you want to find a friend, be a friend. That's how it comes in terms of companionships. So think about multiplying your fruit. So this week regarding our action item is intentionally connect with one person who supports your growth. Through meaningful conversation, it could be encouragement, it could be relationship, it could be prayer. Somebody that actually supports you there. Huh? And then reach out to that person, acknowledge the person, and thank the person for what they have done and what they continue doing to you. Similarly, identify one relationship or influence that may be hindering you or may not necessarily, you don't feel it's not jiving, it's not quite jiving. And just seek clarity about the boundaries you need to set within that relationship. And then finally, find one person, another person who you can encourage in their own growth journey. So that's three things. You're going to find one person that you can support, one person that has supported you, call the person, acknowledge the person, thank the person, and one person that doesn't feel quite right, and determine what boundaries you're going to set in terms of that relationship. For some, I said it might be boundaries, and for some, the boundary could be actually yanking out. You do your own soul searching and find out what is beneficial to you. And our reminder, I know this Bible verse is quite popular, is from Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, which says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like additional resources, please feel free to reach out. Send a comment, send a DP, anything, DM. Yes, just feel free to reach out. And as always, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and do have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye.